What's up, y'all? It's Kenny here on Chillin', and we're keeping it local here. It's a Louisville edition of the show, and I'm joined with my first guest at this time, an alternative band out of Louisville, the 502, and joining me on behalf of Acquainted Strangers, we got Andy on the vocals and guitar, and we have Ian on the bass, and they are joining me right now. How's it going, fellas?
Hey,
What up?
How are y'all on this fine Saturday?
Man, it's sun shining, blue skies. I couldn't ask for more, I guess.
I've pretty much napped the day away.
It's never a bad time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're making the most of it. We're getting to the last few weeks of summer, so gotta make the most of it. Fall's gonna be here real quick. Um, so I appreciate you fellas taking the time, joining me on this interview, on this Louisville edition of the show. We got just Louisville artists on the show for tonight. Um, so with all that being said, let's get into the questions here. How did this?
Bring it.
Let's get to how did the band got together? How did the strangers unite and form? How did it came to be?
Ian, you want to take this one, bud?
Yeah, sure.
We
We strangers became acquainted.
Yep.
It was basically our lead guitarist John Block was in college and had a class with you, Andy, right?
No,
No.
never had a class with JT.
Well, then I don't know. You got to start me off here. I'm like,
All right. Yeah, so JT and I never had a class, but we had a mutual friend, and he's one of my best friends, Garrett Gamble. And so he just kind of was intertwined with me at that point because of Garrett.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, our lead guitarist was kind of looking to start a band, and he had already played previously in another band called Illustrator with our keys and backup singer Kyle Swords and our drummer Austin Armstrong. And so then they were needing somebody to come sing, and through a mutual acquaintance, John got Andy, and then I was the last piece of the puzzle. Kyle and I played music for a long time, about a decade ago, and he just randomly hit me up and was just like, "Hey, how do you feel about playing music again?" And I was like, "Of course I'll do that. That's amazing. Why not?" And that's how the Acquainted Strangers were born.
Yeah, from its infancy.
I like
If only
it.
we had rings. Well, if only we had rings and we could kind of like unite them.
Put them together.
Well said. Well said. Now I've seen y'all perform before. I'm trying to figure it out when it was. I think it was probably a year or two ago. Well, actually, 2+ years ago. It was at the Manchester Music Hall, I think, in Lexington. I don't know who else.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cosmic Charlie.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Cosmic
Yeah.
Charlie's.
Yeah.
Cosmic Charlie, yeah.
Yeah. I was there.
R.I.P.
RIP indeed. I was there that night. And I got acquainted, no pun intended, with you all. And and I like what
I
I
love all
heard.
this puns.
I like the music. I like the adrenaline. I'm a local music junkie, so I try to support as many local acts as I can. I'm
Hey,
from
we appreciate it. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
so much.
and I live in Lexington. I know a lot of friends in Louisville, and I vouch for Louisville local music because y'all doing the damn thing for quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get the perception that maybe Louisville and Lexington people may not see eye to eye on anything. That's mostly on the sports forefront. But as far as music, we all can agree that Kentucky got a badass music scene locally, and y'all
Hell
making
yeah.
noise. So
Hell yeah.
I love this band. I love what y'all do, and it's pretty awesome. It's very very awesome. So um, for those that haven't got a glimpse of you strangers, if people want to ask you how, as far as to describe the type of music that y'all do, I do see on the Facebooks on it says y'all are more of an alternative band. Is that how you best describe the band, or y'all more than that?
When people ask me like, when what's the band song? Like first off, I always say listen to this before like I tell you because you're gonna come up with your own opinion. But I always I say it's an eclectic mix. We kind of range, and I think that's one thing that Ian will also vouch for. We range with our sound and what we do. So you'll hear country roots, you'll hear grunge roots, you'll hear all these different things compiled on top of each other, and whatever you derive from that is what you're going to think it sounds like. So that's why with me, I think we don't even know. Well, we know who we are, but we're still growing to who we are at the same time. So,
Yeah.
but that's what makes it fun. Every time we start working on a song, we all kind of put in our own little spin. That's what we kind of brought to the table with our backgrounds and what our music backgrounds were at that point. Ian is a classical bassist, upright, so he brings a lot of things he learned from his time and that. And I would say from my kind of, I don't know, bluesy, feel it as you go kind of background, it also gets into that. JC's rockish, like forefront comes into play. Kyle's just a wizard at all instruments, so.
Pretty much, yeah. And then Austin's kind of our, he's our driving force. Lack for a better term, as our drummer, he's our driving force. He's been doing kind of like metalcore for a while, so it's a little bit different of a band for him to be in, but it also allows him to get more creative than I think he regularly could with metalcore or hardcore shows or music. He's in another band called Cruel Queen. Great band, but so like he kind of brings more of that heavier sound sometimes that sometimes I'll bring out as well. Like it is kind of like Andy said, it's really cool because we have it's how we all kind of what we listen to, and you hear that a lot in our music of say for instance Kyle will come up with something, and then from how it starts to how it ends, it could almost sound like a completely different song, but it's the same one. So it's kind of nice to do that. So it's kind of hard to put a really big finger on what we call ourselves, but you could roundabout call us as alternative rock.
That's about right. Just the blanket answer, unless you want the spiel.
Well said. Well said. I listen to all types of music. I listen to rock. I listen to alternative, hardcore, new metal, whatever I can get my hands on. And it makes me feel differently. If I want to get in the mood, I get into some metal. If I want to be calm, regular rock. Get it. If I want to get some adrenaline, I get into some alternative. Rock definitely. It's got different moods. It's got different feels. Just how you feel, and get your voice out there.
Whatever you got, whatever you're vibing at that time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So live music took a hit last year, like everyone else, due to the pandemic, and of course, live music is back up and running. We're still dealing with this pandemic, but at least live music is up and running, and being safe. Health and safety is the number one priority, obviously.
Right.
So y'all got to do some shows, getting back to to the feel again. How does it feel just getting back on the stage to perform after all that this world been through? How does it feel just getting back to performing again?
It's amazing. Now, Andy played solo, so he didn't have to have as long as a hiatus as some of the rest of us did. But I tell you, man, it was such a rush, because we played our last show in March of last year.
It was February, wasn't it?
I thought, no, yeah,
First week,
our March one. Yeah, it was February. I'm sorry. So February last year, and we didn't play another live show until like March or May, April sometime this year. So it was almost like a full year. It was almost like falling in love all over again, because you can play in your house and you can practice in your room and everything, but getting on stage, that drug, it's the thing that you just want to fill yourself up with, and that's a feeling that you can't hardly replicate anywhere else. And so for me, it was like falling in love all over again. It was like, you start doubting yourself at home, and you're like, why, beating your head against the wall, and then you play out live again, and that first time it's like, this is it. This is exactly why I do it. Oh yeah.
Well, in my solo shows are mostly covers. I always throw originals in there. Ian was at my last cover show, and I threw in my Christmas song, which is heavily depressing. But it's like being with the guys, on stage is a completely different scenario than being at a restaurant playing covers and playing, playing lips or something like that. It's definitely, I tell my wife all the time, it's me and my most authentic self. I don't care what, you could be throwing a tomato at me on stage and I'd still play through it. I'm so in the zone. And that's why I started wearing sunglasses. I don't know if you all knew that, but I don't like looking at people. So I just closing my eyes, and looking at you guys turn around, and I wouldn't say I'm a leader, a leader in a band or anything, but definitely I feed off their energy, and it's even when the crowd's into it too. Like last night we had a show and we were playing Ellis, and I thought the crowd, some people in the crowd were singing Ellis, but it was actually Ian. So I was getting all hyped. I was like, oh yeah, people are singing Ellis, and it's just Ian over there singing off key.
I was not singing off key. I was singing on key.
You were playfully singing on key, whatever. Yeah, I know you. So, but yeah, I feed off of you guys, and it's just it was a completely different, I guess realm to be in when we first hit the stage again, by doing the solo shows. So it was definitely refreshing.
Definitely refreshing indeed, and just getting to see people again. Face mask, whatever the preference is. But just getting back to performing again. For all musicians, is definitely the normalcy that they've want, that they've hoped for. So it's gonna take some time to go along with it long term, but it's a lot better than staying home doing nothing,
right?
And such.
For sure.
And as a advocate for live local music, I'm glad to see all musicians getting back to performing again, and it's pretty encouraging. Let's just put it that way. I see y'all about to be enchanted this Thursday in the forest.
I had a fairy noise.
Y'all have some great descriptions of your Facebook event pages. Very, very catchy and clever. So talk about this event y'all have coming up this Thursday.
Well, we have one Thursday and Friday. Thursday, Enchanted becomes Acquainted. It's the Enchanted Forest. It's in New Albany,
Looking forward.
right?
3 Floyds.
Floyd.
Yeah,
And
I'm all over the place.
And we've got an hour set, so we're going to be playing almost every one of our songs. We're talking about renting some medieval fantasy costumes. Oh, well, you can buy.
I'm buying. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be a wizard costume some other time in my life, and I don't have to rent it again.
And I think we play at
I think 9.
When we play? 9? Yeah, that's what I thought. 9. I think we play at 9. And then on Friday, we're playing Nirvana. And that's a much shorter set.
25 minutes.
25 minutes. So that'll be a fun one too. I don't think I've ever played at Nirvana. Have you played at Nirvana, Andy?
I have once.
Yeah. So those are the 2 we got coming up. And
I'm hyped for Enchanted Forest. I don't know if you've ever heard of Enchanted Forest or anything to do there. They have like the stage set out literally in the middle of the forest, and they got some rad lights. So I think, like Ian was saying, we're gonna all like get costumes and kind of just go with the flow of it, you know. I think we're gonna add a little flair to the fun side of Acquainted Strangers. We always bring a lot of heat, and we don't get to show our fun personalities. And we all have fun personalities, you know, especially Ian.
That's not true. Everybody knows I'm bland. I'm bland.
Oh yeah. White bread.
Yeah. Rustic white potato bread.
Oh man. So that's gonna be quite a show Thursday at the Indiana Medieval Vibes. That's gonna be quite enchanting. This is gonna be probably the most pun intended interview in the history of this show, and I'm cool with that.
That's perfect.
So check them out. Enchanted Forest in Indiana on Thursday, New Albany, Indiana, and they're going to be at Nirvana on Friday in their current stomping grounds at Louisville. So Indiana folks, check them out on Thursday. Louisville and nearby folks, go check them out on Friday. Get your weekend started right and get acquainted or reacquainted if you haven't seen them since the pandemic. Be a good time to go back and do the supporting local music thing, because they will really appreciate that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
For sure.
Yeah, they won't bite. They, I've seen them, so they're good peoples. They're good.
I try to be a good person, but I'll always take a
recommendation. Always comes up $1 short of that one.
I'm pretty sure I'm $1 short most days of the week. So
yeah, you're right. Never asking for gas money.
So you released 86 Proof, the EP last year. That's available on all the platforms. Go give that a listen. Mm-hmm. Such a dope EP. So will there be any new music from you all either at some point this year, or y'all waiting to towards next year to release new music? What's next? Release new music wise from Acquainted Strangers.
Well, you could say that we're working on some new tunes. Yeah.
We're definitely sitting on 6 unrecorded right now, and I have a couple that I want to show you guys that I've been working on as well. So we want to release a single soon, but how soon is up to. We can never decide on anything as a band. We really need someone to. If you're listening and you want to manage us, please contact us.
Just please make every decision that we ever need to have made.
Yeah, for real. It takes us a year to get shirts.
Yeah, so it takes us a while to decide on stuff, but we do have a single for sure that we're going to drop this year hopefully within the next couple months, if we can. Then we, like you said, we also have quite a few unreleased / new songs that we're sitting on, and so those are very much in the works for maybe after a single of maybe sometime next year of dropping another EP, or if we write some more, maybe a whole album. So we'll just have to play that one by ear, but hopefully we can decide on what we're doing before next year, so that way I can not sound like a liar right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2023. Like, ooh, we saw those 6 songs.
Well, what happened was,
Yeah, exactly.
fill in the blank. So for the time being, you can go stream 86 Proof, the EP, on all the platforms. I'm a Spotify junkie, so that's where I go to listen to my music per se. And check them out this Thursday, Enchanted Forest at New Albany, Indiana, and then at Louisville at Nirvana on Friday. So go check them out. Fellas. Oh, and before I forget, they are on social media too. Check them out on Facebook and on Instagram. Just look up Acquainted Strangers and they'll pop up.
We'll be there.
They'll be there.
Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, but usually most of the time it's there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, if you spell Acquainted wrong, I'm pretty sure the Google or whatever your computer, laptop, desktop will correct you on that too. But
there is a C before the Q, and there is a U after the Q.
Yeah, we like we said, we just played last night, and we're very thankful they put up a flyer with our name on it, and it was spelled wrong.
And another time we played, poor Odeon, another RIP due to COVID. They spelled it Acquainted. They forgot to keep the C before the Q. So it's like, man, can I buy a vowel?
One time it got spelled Acquainted. I don't know.
What?
It's always fun. It's always fun seeing about how somebody's gonna spell it.
There's also a spin-off band that I'm starting to think I want to do with the guys called Acquainted Strangers, where we all dress up like octopi and just blurp, blurp, blurp on stage and then head out,
This is everybody out there listening. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. This is a brand new thing.
I was thinking of a spin-off band.
I think of stuff all the time that doesn't mean I say it.
Guess what? We're going to make
it's here.
We're going to say
it's here now.
Or make plush toys. We can make plush toys. Oh my God, I'm a genius.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah.
So social media, we should be able to be popped up if you type it in right. You have a little bit of trouble, Google's there to help.
Sorry, I derailed us.
Or you can just
Or
you can just do the Google search and just try to pronounce the A word. That will be a helping hand too. It's a pleasure having you fellas on the show. I definitely enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for your time, and hopefully y'all come back to Lexington when y'all get a chance, and we'll actually meet each other face to face.
Of course, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Sound wise, we're really bringing in all of it.
Yeah. So it's we're for sure. We love playing. We've got a couple friend bands in Lexington, and we're always looking to play, and we're always looking to play out. Especially, we love Louisville, but sometimes you got to branch out a little bit. So we're definitely looking to come back to Lexington ASAP.
As soon as possible.
I'll definitely keep an eye on that for sure. Thanks again for being on Best of Success, and I look forward to the new music. I look forward to what's next. And y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you for being on the show again. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Hey,
having
no,
me,
man.
man.
Thank you for having us, for sure.
All right, that is going to conclude the interview. Check us out on Chillin' Saturdays, well, Thursdays and Saturdays, 8 to 9 p.m. on tmvcafe.com. And we are encouraging you all to support local music, support your local musicians, buy their music, go to the shows if you feel comfortable, do what you got to do, and we'll get through this pandemic together somehow. You all enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, sir. You do as well. We appreciate being here once again. Thank you so much.
And that will conclude the interview, and we'll get back to the live portion.